So welcome back to one more video of my channel Rishika Banerjee, and in this channel I make videos regarding your syllabus for class 9 and 10 students. Okay, and we were talking about the chapter called force. Very important chapter, very interesting chapter, the chapter called force. And in this chapter we have understood what is a force, which we have already understood what is a force. Here I will be talking about few very important things, that what happens when force is applied. I have explained this, just writing here, please write. When force is applied on a stationary object, basically two things happens. Please write it before I write, please. I have already explained this, just writing it for you people. Yeah. So two things happens. First, the state of rest or state of motion of the object changes. Clear? Second, shape or size of the object changes. That is, the dimension of the object changes. Clear? Already explained that if force is applied on any object, then the state of the rest will be changing, or the state of motion will change, or the shape or the size of an object will change. Basically the dimension, shape and size means what? You can talk about the dimension of the object is being changed. So these two things happen on when force is applied. This is explained in the previous video. Please go and see if you haven't seen, and if you have seen, then do you know the answer of this. Now we know that forces are two types. Two types of force are there. Okay, two types of force. One is the contact force, and second is your non-contact force. Two forces are there, contact force and non-contact force. Contact and non-contact, by the term you understand, if the force is produced when the physical attraction is there between two objects, then we can consider that to be a contact force. Contact means you are in contact with each other. Suppose these two are there, okay, then if these two if they are like this way, that means what? They are in contact. And if they are like this way, then you can say this is non-contact forces. So a contact forces means we consider force which are applied on bodies by making a physical contact. Here keyword, always focus on the keyword. For contact forces, physical contact will be there. For non-contact forces, no physical contact. Understand? So when the force which are applied on the body by making a physical contact with them, so we can just say the force which are applied on it by physical contact is called a contact force. Here no physical contact, everything will be same except these two. So please mark, always when you study, this is the way you should study, mark the key points. Suppose you forget the things, these key points will be there. For contact forces, physical contact will be there. For non-contact forces, no physical contact will be there. These are the two things. Okay, now you have to know what are the contact, example of contact forces, example of non-contact forces. Understand? First know that non-contact forces, one is frictional force. I don't know whether you have heard about this. Frictional force, isn't it? Frictional force is an example of contact forces. Collision force is an example of contact forces. Forces which are normal reaction force is an example of contact forces. Non-contact forces I can say is gravitational force is an example of non-contact force. Electrostatic force is an example of non-contact force, and magnetic force is an example of non. So three examples are there for non-contact force. One is gravitational, second is electrostatic, and third is magnetic. These forces are example of non-contact forces. What is non-contact forces? There will be no physical contraction. The force which is produced or applied, there will be no physical contact. When I will be explaining you these three forces, you will understand. And contact forces, remember, one you can say is your collision force, second you can say your frictional force, third you can say your force reaction, normal reaction force is an example. So these two I will be explaining you now, okay, in this video. Clear? So first explaining you about contact force. So what are the contact force I said? Please write it first. First one I said about is frictional force. Okay. Second write collision. Normal reaction force. For non-contact force, what I said? For non-contact force, first gravitational force, second electrostatic force, third magnetic force. Clear? Clear, students? Yeah. So now talking about explaining you frictional force. Understand? So students, you have to understand what is a frictional force. Frictional force is a part of contact force that we understand. Frictional force means, suppose in a table, this is a table, and you put a book in this table. Understand, this is a very common and very well known example of frictional force. That is, suppose a table is there and a book is there. Okay, that means what, a table and book are in close contact with each other, so that is contact force. Now what will happen? Suppose you are pushing, suppose this is a table and you push the book. Okay, you will see in the opposite direction there will be a force of friction. Opposite direction a force will be applied. Okay, so it is said that when a book slides or roll over a rough surface, a force will start to, suppose if you give a force on it, okay, in the opposite direction to the motion along with the surface is called a force of friction, or frictional force. I am explaining this to you. See, suppose this is your table. Okay, and this is your book. What is this? This is your book. Now see, suppose you are applying a force in the direction, because you want this book to move this direction. You will see that the table will also give an opposite force. What is this called? This is called force of friction. An opposite force is applied by the table to the book. You are applying a force, and opposite force is also applied to this. This is what is called the force of friction. Clear? And table is there. Book I am giving a force this side. So because I want the book to move in this direction. Opposite direction you will see a force of another force is applying in the opposite direction. To the direction in which you are applying force. That is called the force of friction. How many of you did not understand? Please write it. I will explain it again. But for this present being, let it be this much. Force of friction means what? This is a table, and suppose this is the pen. I want this pen to move from here to here. So I will apply a force to this. Opposite side you will see the table will apply a force. That opposite force in which the table is applying force force is known as your force of friction. Understand? Clear? Okay. So this is what is force of friction. Next we will be talking about collision. If this is not clear to you, please explain. Please say we will be talking about this again. Next we will be talking about collision force. What is collision? Force exerted during collision. Understand? Suppose, let me tell you this one very nicely. Yeah. So collision means what? Suppose I will explain you this one. Yeah. See, this is body A, body B. Okay. What happens if body A says I will move towards body B. Body B says if you are moving towards B, I will also move towards A. I will also move towards, because body A says that I want to move this direction. Body B says I want to move to this direction same time. So what will happen? See, as a result of which we will be seeing that body A and body B will start to fight. Isn't it? See, I am moving in direction, somebody is saying that no, I will also teach in this direction. So as a result of which there will be a fight between me and that person. So that is what is happening. See, body A says I want to move in this middle. Body A says this is my bus stand, I want to catch the bus. Body B says no, this is my bus stand, I want to catch the bus. So together both of them are coming. As a result of which what happens is, see. So as a result of which what will happen? A will be exerting a force to B, B will be exerting a force to A. Clear? So what will happen? So force of A due to B. So what will be here? See, force of A due to B, and here opposite, force of B due to A. Now they have fought it. Now they have both decided you go. A is saying you go, B is saying you go. So what will you see? What will happen now? See, as a result of which A says that no, I will be moving in this direction. B says that no, I will be moving. They had a nice fight, and now they are saying, now see, A is saying that I am moving in this direction. B is saying that no, I am moving in this direction. Isn't it? So now see, this is motion of A, and this is motion of B. What happened is, step 1. They came towards each other. Step 2, they had a nice fight. Step 3, fought and moved towards opposite direction. Understood? Understood? This is what is the collision. Colliding with each other. Colliding. Collision says that we are the word collision means what? Collide means this is colliding each other. This is colliding. Understood? Okay. So two bodies. These are two bodies which are moving towards each other. Next, this is two bodies during collision. This is collision is happening, fighting is happening, and this is the stage after collision. Clear? Understood the point of collision? If you did not understand, then understand the real life example. This is what happens when we fight. So fight is collision. Clear? Understood? Next we will talk about the normal reaction force. Okay. We also have here, see, we also have a force exerted by a string. What happens is, students, you understand, in our life we have always, if you stretch any string, you will see, you are stretching the string, you are leaving, they will come back to its normal point, isn't it? So this is what you have also experienced in a string. So this is what is about the contact forces. Contact forces specifically says that the force when two bodies are in contact, physical contact will be there between two bodies. Non-contact, no contact will be there. These three are there. Okay. I will be explaining you the non-contact forces in the next video. Hoping that you have understood the contact forces. I am ending this video here. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Be safe and meeting all of you in the next video. Thank you.